welcome to Chats with Changemakers, the Northeast podcast for people making the world a better place. Hello and welcome to Chats with Changemakers. I'm your host, Kate Duffy, and in this episode, I interviewed Caroline Hagan from Get Kraken CIC. So Caroline set up her social enterprise back in August 24 to reduce the digital divide by delivering digital skills in workshops, webinars, and ultimately creating a bit of a business community across the Northeast. Caroline is a bit of a genius when it comes to tech and business, with multiple businesses on the go, including Kraken Networking, Caroline Hagan Consultancy, and her new CIC. So without further ado, here is my interview with Caroline. Hi everyone and welcome. Today I am talking to Caroline Hagan from Get Kraken CIC. So welcome, Caroline.
Thanks for having me here, Kate. It's a pleasure, it really is. Thank you.
No worries, no worries. So Caroline, tell us a little bit about Get Kraken CIC.
So Get Kraken's mission really ultimately is to try and reduce the digital divide we've got up here in the Northeast region, predominantly certain areas that are quite income deprived as well. So to try to look at where we can find the gaps and bring in experts to hopefully lend their knowledge and skills. And that could be in the format of sort of webinars, workshops, one-to-ones. So that's the key core mission, I would say, of Get Kraken, but we do a few other things as well.
Awesome. And what on earth brought you to that as a field? Because tech is like, I completely agree. There's a digital divide, and I think there's also a huge learning curve for all of us, I think, at the moment, isn't there? So what brought you into tech? Why is this an interest to you?
I'll be honest, I don't know. It was just something I always enjoyed. I was that weird kid who would be in the bedroom playing with computers, building them, breaking them, trying to figure out how they work. And then the internet came along and that was it. I was away. So
Amazing.
bought myself code and just got into books and CDs like you do, and just really enjoyed the sort of openness of it, that you could share, you could go and find blogs, learn something new, be creative, find other people like yourself ultimately. And I love that from the early days of the internet. So I've spent maybe 15, 20 years in the digital space. Predominantly my career has been as a web designer, web developer, developing different things for different people. So it could be apps, websites, small one-man bands, right up to big organizations as well, which is great. It's so varied. And I love, as I say, the sort of creative nature of that. So it's always been a thing. It's always been there, and it probably always will be. Um, what I was finding sort of towards the end of me having a digital agency was I was finding actually more of my time was spent with the business owner, trying to understand fully kind of what the bigger goal was, not just we're doing a website, but well, why we're doing the website and what's the vision for the coming years. Oh, did you know about this piece of software? Or you can get that thing for free. And there was a lot of training element of that as well, sort of onboarding them onto things we built for them. And I very much enjoyed that. So coming out of the agency, I was like, well, yeah, what can I do next? What's the next 10 years look like? And how can I best use my skills? And in between that, I'd been doing quite a bit with charities over the course of that time, and sort of delivering free webinars through local initiatives, helping small businesses to adapt, go online when we had the lockdown, and working with the likes of Community Foundation about using tech in charity sectors as well, and kind of cluing up on some of the basics, even just cyber security and things. So for me, it seemed to be like a natural progression of, well, I want to really help these people, and I have all this knowledge and people that I know that could blend into that. So how do I blend the two? And a social enterprise seemed to be the natural fit.
Oh, amazing. Amazing. So tell us a little bit more then about that business model. So if you've have you blended those two companies, as in one part of it's your income generating strategy, or is it the topics that have been blended at the moment?
It's very much still early days, so it's still a baby. So we've been more doing tasters in terms of taster webinars. Do people prefer the online format? We're going to trial some workshop versions so they're in person, and just trying to really be a sponge and glean that feedback from the people we're trying to reach ultimately. So I would say there's a bit of a scale. There's the end where the focus is to help fellow business owners, because more often than not they're by themselves, they're doing all the things, wearing all the hats, and it's trying to give them the tools to be more productive or save some money, things like that, in order to run the business more efficiently and make their lives easier. And then I would say the other end of the spectrum is those who really need the help. It could be simply getting online. So we are a provider through Good Things Foundation to be a data bank. So we can provide free SIM cards to help those get online in the first place because everything's gone digital.
Mhm.
So it's trying to find where we sit best, I suppose, and where people really need the help is kind of where we're at that at the moment.
Amazing. So you set up the organization in August 24, so we're not even a year in
Oh,
yet to delivery. So
yeah.
talk us through these first few months for you. How's it going? How are you finding the process so far?
It's definitely a learning curve. I'm coming at it from a business perspective, like how does this become a working business and it's profitable? So it's more the funding side that is the learning curve for me. And I think people sometimes maybe have the opposite
Mhm.
thought process and starting say a community interest company is like, oh right, all the funding please. And it's like, that's lovely, but for me that's more of a cherry on the top. If we can get
Mhm.
that, that's great. But we want to kind of do the work and show the impact and make sure we're actually on the right track in the first instance. So it's definitely, I know it's going to take time, and I think that's a good approach to have is like you know it's going to take a while, but it's great time to like optimize and do surveys and collect data, and I think that's probably going to put you in a better position much later on, hopefully when it comes to yes, there's some funding, great. Hopefully, we're in a better position for that. So it's very much a learning curve, I would say, in time to just absorb information.
Yeah, I love that. I think you're totally right. I think that first year is if you can afford to have that space to be able to develop your initiatives with your participants. I think that the long term is that it speeds you along to a product that's much more fit for purpose.
Mm.
So yeah, wonderful. Um, if you don't mind me asking, then Caroline, if at the moment it's in its pilot phase and is growing and learning, how are you maintaining yourself going forwards? Do you have a part-time job? Is it not something that you need to worry about? Or because I
That's
know
a good
it's,
question.
yeah.
I think, like many others, you wear many hats and you probably do different things. So, yes, I had until recently a full-time job. It was with
Mhm,
another CIC, helping them with a program which was funded. So I knew that was a time-limited thing. I work as a consultant in myself. So again, very
mhm.
much tapping into what I already know, doing digital marketing for other clients and delivering websites, helping them with software, things like that on a obviously a profit for profit basis. And then alongside the kick, we do run business networking events. So that is like almost the profit making side of the kick at this moment. So that's open to any business to come along. There's tickets that are free for charities and CICs because again, I feel like why not?
Mhm.
Um, and it's great because we have some good speakers on that hopefully share their knowledge. So for me, it's very much building that community and learning from each other and kind of keeping that rolling. And that is like as I say, helps kind of keep things funded, as it were,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
putting on in-person events and things. And yeah.
Yeah, amazing. And I've seen those events advertised. They really do look very good. Um, and you do some as well that are specifically for social enterprise as well, don't you?
Yep, so they'll be coming up soon. So again, very new, but I think there still was a gap for it. I know it
Hmm.
was being run in another area, but was very much kind of for that area.
Hmm.
So it's trying to keep it open, and
Yeah,
I think again we've got so much we can learn from each other, and there's probably a chance for loads of collaboration as well. So there'll probably be something you might do, but you might not know a certain part of it, and so you can bring in someone else. And I think that's what it's all about: is sharing knowledge in that community, like you say.
100%, 100%. And I think one of the things that comes out a lot in our interviews is that people really need to be well connected across this sector. Generally, people really want to work together and understand that together we can do so much more. So I think the more networking opportunities there are out there, that's only going to be good for the sector, bringing people together for sure.
Yeah.
So let's fast forward then. Take us to the future. What does Get Kraken look like in, I don't know, 10 years from now?
Oh, that is a good question. I think I'm good at being flexible, so I
Hmm.
don't have the grand plan.
Okay.
And I think, like you say, it's very much going to be driven by
Hmm.
we learn as we go. So I think I'm open for suggestion. But yes, it'd be great to be able to do lots of grassroots sort of sessions or have digital drop-ins, things like that, to just make it even more accessible and really bring it to people rather than kind of people coming to us or trying to find us. So I think it's really about that accessibility. But yeah, it would be great to have some sort of library of knowledge to you can tap into for free. And very much again, just keeping that common thread of helping other people in this sector as well. So helping other charities with digital, other kits and so forth. Because I think very often they're a sector that don't get like are forgotten about and kind of last to know things.
Mm-hmm.
So to kind of like sort of bring them along with us. So that would be great. It would be good fun if we could do that.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, Caroline. Well, I've got one last question for you, and I'm wondering, given that you have been up and running now for just under 12 months, what do you wish that you'd known at the start that you know now? What's been a really important lesson to you through this period of time?
I think it's definitely trying to seek out the people who've done it before and know way more than you do. I think I was lucky enough to come across someone who did a lot of YouTube videos about setting up a CIC, and she
Oh,
brought a lot,
handy.
shared a lot of information about that. So I was like, oh, right, that kind of joined some of the dots here for me, and I know
Hmm.
what to do. And there was some free resources with some other business sort of support
Hmm.
online that I come across. So I think half the battle is just finding the information or finding the people, like you say, who are already doing it, who've been through the ringer a couple of times,
Yep.
and they know where to sort of signpost you or if you're going to go and do that thing, these are some things to consider about it. So I think definitely knowledge sharing and having that community there is key because it's really hard to do it by yourself.
Hmm. Amazing. Well, Caroline, thank you ever so much. And
Thank you.
I think that the next year is going to be really interesting for Get Kraken. And I can't wait to come along to one of your networking events. So
Definitely looking at
um,
it there.
thank you ever so much for your
Thank
time.
you.
And yeah, we'll see what happens next.
Fab, thanks very much for having me. I look forward to it.
So Caroline is fairly early on in her development journey with Get Kraken CIC. And I love the fact that she has adopted the lean business approach where she's trialing and co-developing her minimum viable product rather than spending loads of time and loads of resource trying to create the perfect program behind closed doors. She also mentioned the importance of spending time with people, people ideally who have trodden the path before, and have got pearls of wisdom that they can share with her to perhaps mean that she doesn't have to learn all the hard lessons, but smooth that road to success just a little bit. And from our conversation, you'll know that there are loads of events coming up in both Get Kraken, CIC, and across the networking company too. So do make sure that you're connected with Caroline, and don't forget to subscribe to Chats with Changemakers for more brilliant interviews like this one. Catch you next time. Thank you for joining today's chat. If you'd like to be featured on the next series, please email hello@junctionpoint.co.uk. Speak to you soon.